It's time to get lost in the Midcard. This Bleav in Pro Wrestling property is brought to you by Bet Online, the continued #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Join now and receive your 100% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you use our promo code Bleav. Now, here are Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where we hope your Halloween is very oozy. It's lost in the midcard. Happy Halloween for those that are joining us on this glorious day. Of course, it won't be a Halloween without a trick-or-street fight. Yeah, we got one of those coming up.
Joy.
Those did not die with the end of Vince.
Could you blame me for hoping that they would have?
Yeah, and we will run down what we Bleav is Bleav will happen to be up for Monday Night Raw later on here in the show. And happy Halloween to everybody here. I did not dress up. I've been dealing with a damn migraine since Saturday.
I dressed up my background.
I wore my Shining shirt. There you go. Yeah, Matt is no longer in his suite, his palatial estate with the grand piano. Matt now he's got a background kind of like mine now. I need to fix the other end. I got some stuff. I got a nice I got a frame for a PWI 500. Probably put the Mox one up there. I got a signed photo from Masha Slamovich. I'll probably put that up there. I got a little lighted sign where I can put letters, so I can put whatever up there. I can put FU or F and Marks. If we ever get to talk about being the elite again, hopefully that
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully that comes someday soon. But let's just jump right into it. We got a few stories here. We got some television to talk about as we lead up to Monday Night Raw at the top of the hour. But let's first talk about what was the lead over the weekend, and that was Cody Rhodes replying to a tweet. It's kind of interesting how Twitter sometimes creates headlines, and in this case it did with Cody Rhodes. Someone was responding to a tweet, and basically it was a tweet that just said it was like Matt Jackson out of control, out of context. So it's just like a fan page,
fan account,
and they posted the four guys arm in arm as basically, if I remember correctly, Matt, this was that photo. If you remember seeing that was when right before All In, right?
No, this was Double or Nothing because there was no Marty there.
Oh, the first.
So this was Double. The first Double or Nothing 2019.
The official first AEW show.
Yep. I
got it. And so, somebody replied to that tweet with, "Then why did Cody leave?" And well, Cody, obviously the Bucks and Kenny and Cody were tagged in that photo, so the reply also caught them. And Cody said, "I didn't leave because the Bucks of Kenny. I'm forever bonded to those men over what we created, and I remain very proud of it. I didn't leave, I didn't leave because of or have issues with Punk. We got along. Not money, not booking, just a personal issue, and my wanting to go for the big one." Obviously, he has never been world champion in WWE, and that was something he wanted to accomplish and something he's going to accomplish in 2023. What is this personal issue? Now, I thought the personal issue was the booking side of things, but he's saying it's not booking. You have any idea what he's relating to there?
No, because whatever the personal issue is, him and Tony agreed that they weren't going to talk about it. So I don't think we'll ever know what that personal issue is until maybe years down the road when Cody or Tony decide to sit down and write an autobiography or something, and maybe it comes out then.
Yeah.
But I don't foresee it coming out, at least from those two. Maybe we hear about it in the Young Bucks second book, because they certainly hinted that they would write a second book about the about the AEW time, which there's going to be a lot of stuff in there people are going to want to read about.
Oh yeah.
I thought the greatest thing to the Cody tweet was the Young Bucks responding. And it's very rare that the Young Bucks respond to anything on Twitter, but they quote retweeted Cody's tweet with the photo of the four of them at Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's cool. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people thought, oh, there's so much issues with the Elite and all that. And yeah, they might have had creative differences and whatnot, throughout their time there. But at the end of the day, those four guys are forever linked as the people who helped create All Elite Wrestling. So, like, just the fact to see that they're all still, seemingly on the same page, I think that's I thought that was a really cool moment of this weekend.
Yeah, I thought so too. And obviously, one of those suspensions or whatnot is very close to being lifted. Obviously, a teaser, a vignette was shown on Dynamite this Wednesday. Basically a Back to the Future type of deal where they're actually getting erased from history. Obviously putting up the tease that they are leaving AEW, which is obviously not the case. But what did you make of that? What did you make of that vignette that they showed on Wednesday, Matt?
I thought it was just the beginning of a series that's going to bring them back.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're going to face Death Triangle at Full Gear.
Probably.
So we'll know more. We'll know more after that show, based on what direction they're going to choose to go. But to me, that makes the most sense. There's 3 Dynamites left before Full Gear, and I can't imagine that they're not going to appear on at least the final one.
Oh yeah.
To set up the pay-per-view match. I guess technically they could just announce it. And
you know where the
we don't see them until we don't see them until then, but I think that would be a mistake.
You know where that go home show's at?
I know they're in Baltimore this Wednesday. I think they're in Boston next week. And I would imagine they're still probably somewhere on the East Coast because Full Gear's in Newark in New Jersey. So I'm not 100% sure where the show is, but I would imagine it's going to be right around that area.
I don't go to the website too often, but it's kind of funny that they don't have AEW.com. It's some real estate site.
Yeah, I think it's all EliteWrestling.com.
Yeah,
and I think you want AEWTIX.
So
.com for their touring schedule.
There's an events page there that I could see for that.
There we go.
So yeah, Baltimore on the 2nd. The 9th is Boston, Bridgeport, Connecticut for the go home show. And of course they'll be in New York, New Jersey for a live Rampage prior to Full Gear. Full Gear on a Saturday. I love it. I hate Sunday. Yes. I don't like Sunday pay-per-views anymore.
They seemingly only run the Saturday pay-per-views when it's during the NFL season.
Yeah, and also
honestly, it kind of makes me wish the NFL season was all year round because I like Saturday pay-per-views.
Yeah, and on top of that, I don't like pay-per-view. AEW loves doing pay-per-views over holidays, and I hate that too because
they seem to think that's an overall better metric. But I don't particularly care for it. But
yeah, I'm always gone on Labor Day. I got a lot of shit going on Labor Day. I'm always gonna miss that one live. I may get home, may be able to get home for like the last hour, but I just don't like those. I don't like that they have them on holidays. But anyways, I digress on that. But thank you for joining us live here on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling Network. We are approaching 500 subscribers on YouTube. So what you want to do is get subscribed to the YouTube page. That way, once we hit 500, we're giving away $100 to WWE Shop or AEW Shop, the winner of choice. Follow Rick Ucchino at Rick Ucchino on Twitter for more information on that once we approach the 500 mark. Also, make sure you are giving us that orange casty thumbs up, like the YouTube video, because that always helps get this out to the masses. As Lost the Midcard is back, baby.
We were gone for a while, but now we're here.
What is this? Week 3, 4? I'm lost count already.
I think this is the fourth
episode. I can't remember.
I don't remember. We're back. That's all that matters. We were gone for a while. Now we're back. New time slot, new format.
That is true.
building the empire all over again. Hey, it's Bayley.
Hey, it's Bayley. That is right. Bayley recently sat down with for an interview with Sportskeeda Wrestling and was asked about the possibility of a women's intercontinental championship. And Bayley says she's not against the idea. She says, quote, I mean, it wouldn't hurt. It would be nice to have another title, but I think it's going to take time. You know, when we wanted those tag team titles, it took a long time, and it took someone actually fighting for them. So if that's what we want, someone has to stand up for it and really fight for it and prove that it's going to be a benefit to the division. Matt, what are your thoughts? I mean, obviously AEW has this equal title with the TBS championship. What are your thoughts on the women having an intercontinental title?
With the way the titles are going right now, the only way I see this happening is if they merge the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships, like they've done with the tag team and the men's title.
Yeah.
If they merge those, then there's precedent to add in a secondary women's title. But if they don't do that, I don't foresee WWE doing it. Not that it wouldn't be a great idea, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they have a hard time getting their tag titles even going. So, you know, you got to build those within, and building those within is starting these tag teams in NXT, kind of like what you have with Katana Chance and Caden Carter. But you really, JC Jane and Gigi Dolan, outside of that, you really have very, very few grown together tag teams like that. And you need to continuously create teams like that to succeed. I mean, Zoe Stark and Nikita Lyons, I mean, that's just a thrown together team. And that's kind of basically what the main roster has done, is just thrown together teams. I mean, absolutely nobody or their dog thought Shotzi and Raquel were going to win those tag team titles against Damage Control. So
well, nobody thought Raquel and Aaliyah were going to win those titles either.
Yeah, that created some interesting conversations. But for those joining us live, we appreciate you. Make sure you throw in your comments, questions, anything, thoughts, anything in the chat there. We appreciate your participation. And if you are listening on demand, do choose to join us live if you can. We are here every Monday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, as we are your official Monday Night Raw preview, kickoff, all the above show. We'll get into Monday Night Raw and everything else in a little bit. But first, let's talk about something Usi. Probably one of the most hilarious moments in recent memory, when Sami Zayn simultaneously popped the entire bloodline with his brilliant antics that he's been doing for a long time now. And he talked with BT Sport in an interview conducted actually before SmackDown. So this was this was actually before SmackDown, but wanted to talk about breaking the bloodline, because obviously the antics of Sami Zayn are not new. So this was not a new thing at all. But in talking about popping them, he goes, no, when asked if he's kept count on how many times he's gotten them to break. People have made a big deal out of that, about the fact they're seeing little chinks in the armor. But to be honest, it's the reason it's standing out so much, that it reminds the fans that the performers are really having fun doing this. It's something that they sometimes forget. We're enjoying doing this too. There's real life chemistry between myself and that whole family. We've always gotten along splendidly, and it's nice to see that the fans are appreciating getting a window into that a little bit. But my God, Matt, that whole thing, popping Jay and popping Roman, and Jimmy's over there covering his face. It all reminded me of Chris Farley's SNL debut when he was Matt Foley and David Spade tried to cover his face because he was busting out laughing so hard. That's what this kind of reminded me of. What a great segment that was on Friday, huh?
One of the best segments in SmackDown history, without question. Absolutely phenomenal. Sami Zayn is a master of what he does, and I mean, it was revealed this morning from WrestleVotes that the reason Kevin Owens isn't on Raw right now is because this Sami Zayn Bloodline storyline has caught fire and it is doing so much better than what anybody could have anticipated. So unlike the old regime that would just, we're going with what the plan was and we're going to
Rush
stick
it.
to it, pal.
Yeah.
Like Triple H is smart enough to see like, hey, we got something here.
Yeah.
Let's run with this for a bit. We know the end game
Mm.
is Sammy and Owens getting together, to take the tag titles from the Usos.
Probably
But
Mania.
Look, maybe Elimination Chamber in Montreal.
Well, like I said, remember there's the
dude, the
DUI
Usos
rules.
are going to wrestle in Saudi Arabia next weekend.
No, Canada has a lot. It's not a matter of going out of the country. Canada specifically has strict rules on if you have DUI.
Look, all I know is recently they haven't been allowed in Saudi. They haven't been allowed in the UK, and they're going to both of those places within
Last
the last
time they were just in
few
Canada.
weeks.
They were just in Canada, and it was just Sammy and Solo.
Hey, look, something can change. No, the other Uso was there last time they were in Canada.
Yeah, well, the other one is
Jey Uso was there when they were in Canada last time.
Yeah,
so don't rule it out. It's totally possible that they
Canada's very strict. I'm not holding my
chamber. It's months away.
I'm not holding my breath.
I'm not rolling it out.
I'm not holding my breath because they look at those. It's not just like a bam. They allow you in. It's a very strict thing.
They need a big match.
Yeah, but Canada doesn't give a shit about that. They have those rules in place. So they're very, very, very strict. Going back 10, 15, 20 years, if you've got one, you can't get in. It's pretty cut and dry. So
I guess we'll revisit this 4 months from now.
Yeah, we'll find out. Because again, you did not see Jimmy very recently on their last tour of Canada. So, oh boy, this is a fun one right here. But every so often, we find Eric Bischoff bitching about AEW. What timing? What timing that he did not get hired by Tony Khan and then decides to bash them to promote his own podcast. What timing? And look, once again, it's happened again. Eric Bischoff, Tony Khan had made an appearance on Busted Open Radio recently and called Eric Bischoff a hypocrite because he would often book cold matches on Nitro. That is, just putting matches together without a storyline, basically. Just putting them together, like last week, Moxley and Penta going for the title. Of course, a lot of people are like, Penta's a tag team wrestler. Apparently, you don't know the career of Penta. He made his living as a singles wrestler for almost all of his life until AEW. Anyways, but that's a side story we'll go to later on. So Bischoff on his 83 Weeks podcast is answered and said, I've criticized myself plenty for things I wish I would have done differently or things I've learned subsequent to my time in WCW that I wish I had knowledge or instinct or insight that I have now 25 years ago. It would have been a better show. There certainly were certainly random matches that didn't have any story in WCW. I'm not denying that, but I'm also going to point out that I didn't think I ever said in any of my commentary about AEW that I believe that every match should have a story. When you're introducing new talent or when you have talent that really hasn't matched up storyline wise with an opponent yet, but you want to expose that talent and have audience familiar with that talent and establish that talent, well, sure, people in matches that don't really have a story. Use that time in non-storyline matches and give us some real backstory and information about said talent. Make us care. It doesn't always have to be in the form of a storyline, a traditional structured story. If ever given the impression I thought every match on Nitro had a storyline, forgive me now. I never meant to. Matt, what are your comments on that?
Dude,
my God.
The man is just obsessed with saying the dumbest shit on the planet so he can get hits on his podcast. And none of this stuff was happening until he had those few appearances for AEW. Everything was hunky-dory. Everybody was lovey-dovey. And all of a sudden, WWE came calling. They threw Bischoff in the Hall of Fame. He didn't get any deal with AEW. And now all of a sudden he's, blah, blah, blah. Everything's the worst in the world with AEW. It's just like, dude, just shut up. We all know what you're doing because you're doing the same thing every other, shock jock podcaster is doing right now. And it's just running your mouth to a detriment to the rising company that's not paying you, that's not giving you a paycheck. Because look, there's a pattern. Booker T running his mouth about AEW, being paid by WWE. Bischoff running his mouth about AEW, probably has been paid by WWE a few times in the past year.
And didn't
I mean,
get
it's
paid
not
by
that hard to fucking figure out.
and didn't get the contract with AEW, and that's when all of a sudden this all started.
Yep.
He started bashing them, and the timing was perfect as he started bashing them because Tony didn't offer him a contract. Props to Jeremy Lambert at Fightful because there's a whole bunch more paragraphs in that article.
He rambled on forever. The man loves to hear himself talk.
So, Fat, on the chat here, of course, anybody joining us live, thank you for joining us live. Ask us questions at any time, and we will get to them. Your thoughts on WWE canceling Hell in a Cell PLE? I love it. Hell in a Cell should not have its own pay-per-view. It should organically appear when a feud calls for it. I love it, and let's do it for Money in the Bank too, maybe. Because there's rumors that might go to WrestleMania. Always rumors that was a Big Five thing. But then they thought, oh, Big Five, put it in the stadium. It didn't sell. So then they had to pull it back into an arena, which is better because those type of matches are better actually in a more intimate setting. So to me, I'd rather have Money in the Bank have its own pay-per-view and still be part of the Big Five. But Hell in a Cell, TLC, those type of gimmick matches where, that's why I made fun of when's going to be the first Fight Pit PLE, because anyways, I think it's perfect. It's great. Triple H knows. He knows it makes more sense to make that organically when the feud calls for it. Matt, do you agree?
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that they've canceled it, and I hope they cancel all the gimmicked pay-per-views, because honestly, just like you said, they should be the climax of the feud, of a rivalry, and like that's what it should. That's what they should be. But like every year, Hell in a Cell rolls around, like, oh, let's just throw whatever rivalry we currently have in Hell in a Cell for the hell of it, and more often than not, it doesn't end the feud. They just continue on after the pay-per-view, and you're just like, well, what was the point of using Hell in a Cell for that? So I think it's great, and I think they should move Money in the Bank to WrestleMania. You do one ladder match on night one, you do the other ladder match on night two, and there's two great matches right there on your show. You don't need a separate Money in the Bank pay-per-view. You never did. And I think Triple H should go back to focusing on the big four, as your pay-per-views. And I think with War Games being utilized in the Survivor Series this year, I think we're going to see Survivor Series be one of the most important shows of the year once again, and it hasn't been for a very long time.
No, I am not as strong against or I'm not as strong of having Money in the Bank have its own pay-per-view, because again, I think that intimacy in the ladder match being in a smaller arena is a lot better than the WrestleMania stage, where the sound, obviously in a big arena like that, the sound is going to go straight up. It's not going to be as big of a crowd reaction that's going to come across on TV, where I think it's just more exciting for the viewer at home to watch it in an arena than in a stadium. But at the same time, if he wants to do it, I'm not going to bitch about it. I'm not going to complain about it. That was where it started. So I'm perfectly fine with having it at WrestleMania as well. So, and Mark Cho in the chat, enjoying Matt's hand as I was reading Eric Bischoff's
that was just Bischoff flapping at the gums. I don't know what you're talking about.
Paragraph 1 of 500.
There's like a million of them there.
And they were long paragraphs too. But I digress.
Props to Jeremy Lambert.
Yeah,
that man is a machine.
That dude is a saint and also a headline machine.
Very true.
Xavier Woods.
Speaking of machines.
Speaking of machines. Xavier Woods, I'm gonna throw a sidebar before we talk about the last story of our weekend story recaps. We have a tease that the party might be coming back. Oh, challenge! Let's hope Triple H lets the party happen.
And I guess that's why they called it +2.
God, I missed the potty. Fresh off of his appearance on Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, which, as a game show freak myself, I watch a lot of classic Price is Right and a lot of classic game shows on the Buzzer channel all throughout the week. I have been watching game shows all of my life, ever since I was raised by my mother and my grandmother, and enjoy them thoroughly. So I loved to see Xavier Woods have an appearance on Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, and now that appearance on Celebrity Wheel of Fortune has aired, Xavier Woods was able to let the cat out of the bag and say that there is going to be even more of a partnership between WWE and Wheel of Fortune. Are there going to be special episodes leading up to WrestleMania 39? And fans can submit videos explaining why they're fans of WWE and why they should be on the show and pick to spin the wheel. Oh, maybe I should get me a video started, Matt.
Yeah, I think we might both. We both may want to do that.
That
would be fun. That would be fun. I've watched Wheel of Fortune all my life, so
I can't remember.
I think I'd be pretty good at it.
I can't remember if I mentioned this on Lost in the Midcard. This would have been about 2.5 years ago. I probably did mention it, but obviously it was 2.5 years ago. But I had 2 or 3 interviews to be on Card Sharks. I was this damn close to getting on Card Sharks with Joe McHale.
That'd been
But
cool.
I did not get the final call apparently, and I've also had a couple of Jeopardy interviews too.
See, I would not do well on Jeopardy.
Being
I think I would do very well on Wheel of Fortune.
I had an interview on Sports Jeopardy when
Sports Jeopardy might be a different story.
When Dan Patrick was hosting it on Crackle, that did not.
Okay.
And then regular Jeopardy as well.
Regular Jeopardy, I got no shot.
I'm
not even gonna pretend like I would. Give me Wrestling Jeopardy.
Oh yeah, right.
Let me play that. Let's see how I do there.
How about celebrity? how about Celebrity Jeopardy? Your mother's a whore, Trebek.
My God.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to. Oh wait, there is a link. The contestants are paired with WWE superstars for this week-long event as well.
How cool is that?
And if you go to wheeloffortune.com/WWE, I'll put it in the chat here for those that are live. For those listening on the podcast, wheeloffortune.com/WWE. I'm going to be doing that. But yeah, that's going to be cool. Be paired with the WWE superstar. Miz and Bianca Belair are on the promotional, so I'm guessing those are maybe 2 of the 3. Maybe Xavier Woods comes back to be the 3rd. Who knows? Maybe they mix them up throughout the week. So it's going to be a week-long event. But of course, most game shows, they tape a whole week's worth of stuff in one day. So,
yeah.
But they could easily mix and match people on those shows too. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. A new partnership, a lot of interesting stuff there. Of course, this is going to be leading up to WrestleMania. So probably look for it sometime in March. And I will get my application in. All right, let's keep on rolling. Let's go through television this week. Monday Night Raw. Oh, this was did you quote Matt, worst Raw of the Triple H era? Is that about right?
It was really bad. Like it read bad like before the show, and it was even worse when we freaking had to sit through it for 3 hours. It felt like a 6-hour show.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping that they rebound tonight because Raw was rough last week, man.
I was watching the Bears live, whooping up on them Patriots, and so I did not watch it live. But I thought Theory and Ali was good. I thought the Gargano and Miz stuff backstage was funny. I wonder if JBL was legit pissed that Gargano stole his hat. If he was legit pissed, good, fuck him. But yeah, overall, I don't know what are we doing with this Money in the Bank briefcase? I've heard theories that he may be out. Get it? A theory? Hey, hello. I've heard theories that they're gonna do this all the way down to the wire and have a countdown clock to where he has to cash it in. He's got like an hour left. I'm kind of for that, Matt. That's never happened in Money in the Bank history, really. I think that might be interesting.
I think the funniest thing would be is look, I know they probably wouldn't do this, but how funny would this be? They do the Money in the Bank at Mania.
Mhm.
So there's 2 Money in the Bank men's briefcases going around. And Theory's got that year deadline,
Oh.
and he cashes in, and he wins, and he's so happy. And then the other Money in the Bank guy comes out and cashes in on him immediately and wins the title. And he's got like a 2-minute title reign. It would be tremendous. Everybody would love that.
It'd be
Look,
wonderful.
I don't think it'll happen, but man, that would be glorious. I would love that so much.
Mark Cho saying for Wheel of Fortune, Matt gets paired with his favorite Apollo.
I don't mind getting paired with Apollo. I think that'd be fine. He
Yeah.
sees the future. He'll be able to tell me the
Sure.
puzzle before it happens. I think that'll be okay.
I like this new Apollo in NXT.
Yeah, you pair me with somebody. If you want to pair me with somebody I'd be annoyed by, pair me with Austin Theory. Or JBL or Baron Corbin,
Pair me with JBL, and I can
I got
ask
no
him.
problem if you want to pair me with Apollo. What the hell?
I can ask him to unblock me. Did you like the main event though, Bailey? And
it's fine.
Bianca?
But I mean, we all knew Bailey was going to win. It was a last chance match. If Bailey didn't win, she wasn't going to get another title shot. So she had to win. We got the Nikki Cross return.
Yep, no more ASH.
Which they completely like brushed under the rug by just making the match at Crown Jewel, Bailey and Bianca in the last woman standing match. So thanks for returning, Nikki Cross. Fuck you too, because you're not even involved. Like, she laid out both people who are going to be competing for the title on Saturday, and like she was an afterthought. Really, like everything about Raw was not good. Like I'm really hoping that they realized that they had a dud last week and that they rebound tonight.
We moved to the black and goldish NXT.
I'll call them white and gold.
White and gold.
It's certainly not black and gold.
Yeah. Had a hell of a main event between Dragunov and McDonough. I thought that was pretty damn good. The women's tag titles, the whole swerve thing, I don't know. I thought that was kind of annoying and a little just a mess with making us think there was a title change and then there wasn't. Our Truth I thought was funny as hell on there. I kind of like that. Our Truth thought it was still Halloween Havoc, so Our Truth being Our Truth. And then outside of that, I mean, the men's tag title, I thought Enofe and Malik Blade looked good. I thought that was a decent match. And then, boy, the internet sure loved Ava Raine joining Schism, didn't they?
What the hell?
Oh,
why are they doing that to the Rock's daughter, man?
You never know.
Literally partnering her with like the worst stable in the last decade of WWE.
Ain't that
and
bad.
Like, here, succeed in this. It's fucking awful, dude.
It ain't that bad.
Look, the only really good thing I can say about NXT from Tuesday night is it was better than Raw.
Yeah.
And that's the best compliment I could give NXT this week, is it was better than Raw. It normally NXT's WWE's worst show every week, but that distinction definitely fell upon Raw last week.
Yeah. And JD McDonough looking evil as fuck after the defeat of Ilya Dragunov.
What are they doing with Dragunov, man? Why is that man losing back-to-back matches like that? Didn't like that at all.
No, sir.
Unless they're about to call him up or something. Like, I don't dig it. I don't know what they're doing.
No, sir. I didn't like it.
Didn't like it.
All right, let's go to the AEW with Dynamite and Rampage, and we kick things off with some Blackpool Combat Club against Jericho Appreciation Society, and the good guys getting the win there. The tension between Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Bryan continuing. What are your thoughts on this tension between these two guys?
Nothing wrong with stable tension. You're seeing it with the Bloodline right now. There's tension with Jey Uso. And look, the tension at the beginning of the show set up the reason why they couldn't help Mox in the main event. It was a connecting story. Claudio said, look, after Danielson's match, we're going to go to a locker room. We're going to shut the door. We're going to work this shit out. So You know, it was like foreshadowing into what happened at the end of the show. So I mean, like, it worked out. I look, I don't mind it at all.
And
Obviously, they
probably
have a
a slight,
plan
and
and it's
probably a
leading
slight,
somewhere.
probably a
So
slight to CM Punk too.
I don't think it really was. I think the last that they really want to do right now is really be taking shots at Punk right now, because who knows what the future's going to hold. Let's go with the never say never type of deal.
Yeah. We'll get into what Jericho is doing for a challenge on Wednesday. We'll get into that once we cover our
And
Dynamite preview.
and I will reveal the only name that makes sense in that building for it to be.
FTR Swerve in Our Glory, probably match of the evening, highlight of the evening by far. Of
Great
course,
match. Great
Acclaim,
match.
Acclaim came out, set on stage. Jesus, those pops the Acclaim are getting right now are insane. I cannot believe the pops they are getting. I mean, I can believe them because they're great, but man, it's like that arena just explodes when they come out. Swerve in Our Glory getting the win over FTR, and old Swerve, he's a little shady character lately, huh?
Well, look, we look. The Acclaim's going to retain at Full Gear, and that tag team is finally going to split.
Good
And
cop, bad cop.
Lee and Swerve are going to have a hell of a feud over the next several months. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be good shit.
What did you think of Swerve kidnapping Daddy Ass there on Friday?
Dude, look, I know they really sold it on commentary to make you believe that Swerve attacked Billy Gunn's hands. But let's face it, it looked like he shoved that thing up Daddy Ass's ass.
The pliers?
That's exactly what it looked like. Go
And
back and watch it. It looked like he shoved the damn thing up his ass.
Sodomy.
So
remember the Family Guy
I'm
episode.
just saying, man.
Remember that Family Guy episode, Sodomy? Wow. Sodomy with pliers. That's wow. Maxwell, Jacob Friedman coming out. Man, that guy's acting like a babyface more and more every week, isn't he?
Well, I mean, I still think it's all work.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
I think this is aces and eights all over again.
We'll get to that once we get to the main event. But MJF and Renee Paquette, love to see those two being involved in an interview. That did not disappoint. But yeah, even though she is insulting her husband, he's letting the crowd finish his catchphrases and all this shit like he's a babyface. Of course, Stokely interrupting. And MJF says he wants Moxley at 100%, so there are no excuses at Full Gear. And he does not want Stokely to even look at Moxley, or Stokely is fired. Again, we'll get more into that later on. Danielson Guevara, that was a damn good match, wasn't it?
Yeah, I liked it because Danielson just basically beat the shit out of Guevara for the entire match.
He did.
I think that was very kind of Tony to give us that match, because I feel a lot of fans wanted to see someone beat the shit out of Guevara on live television, and that got to fall into the hands of the American Dragon, and everybody rejoiced.
He didn't disappoint. Jamie Hayter and Riho with a damn good match. I enjoyed that one immensely as well. Another great interview pair, Renee Paquette and Eddie Kingston. It'll be interesting to see where this is going with Eddie Kingston, but to be determined, apparently. Of course, everybody tried to give a little intervention for Eddie that he did not like. Then we got the main event. Jon Moxley against Penta El Cerro Miedo, and pretty good match, decent match there with Moxley hitting the paradigm shift and Death Rider combo to get the win. After the match, the Firm attacking. MJF comes out, acting like he's going to make the save, goes back to the back, then comes out to make the save. And then the Firm, a big boot from was it Ethan Page that threw the first shot, or was it Morrissey? I can't remember. I thought it was Paige.
I think
it was
remember.
Egon.
Well, Egon hit the Ego's edge.
Yeah, maybe it was Morrissey with a kick then.
Yeah, I can't 100% recall. Somebody in the chat might remember. Morrissey makes the most sense. Yeah. Like if you're trying to think back, like which one of those would be delivering a big boot, Morrissey makes sense. But I mean, I can't 100% remember right now.
So then they beat up MJF and put him through a table, and Matt says it's all a work, all a ploy.
I definitely think it is, and I think MJF will run down every single step of his plan on the Dynamite following Full Gear when he's out there in the ring with the AEW World Championship draped over his shoulder.
Yep. And he ain't going to win that one fair and square. It's going to be cheap and easy, right?
Well, I find something that he promised to be very telling, and I think this will come back at Full Gear, is that he promised that he would not use the Dynamite Diamond Ring in his match against Jon Moxley, which leads me to believe somebody else will use it for him. I don't know who. Probably somebody from the firm would make the most sense, but I definitely, he promised that he would not use the ring, but I see it coming into play with somebody else using the ring during that match to help MJF beat Mox.
And Rampage, man, we still need to fix Rampage, guys.
I thought it was a lot better than last week's.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are giving it grief. I thought this show was much better than last week's show.
Yeah.
Was it perfect? No, but I thought it was a step in the right direction.
On paper, though, I mean, Moxley and Menard.
On paper.
Why is Menard in a title eliminator match?
Well, it was originally supposed to be.
Yeah, I know.
Menard and Parker against Claudio and Wheeler, and then they just changed it to a singles match. I don't know why they didn't just do Parker and Menard against Moxley and Claudio.
Yeah.
To me, I think that would have made a lot more sense. So I was confused by that decision to just change it, to just shift it to a singles match, unless something came up with Claudio that he couldn't be at the show on Friday. I mean, that would be the only thing that would make sense to switch it to a singles contest.
Marcho in the chat saying the boot was Egon.
I will take his word for it.
I thought it was him throwing the first shot.
So so you got to think we're going to see Paige against MJF before Full Gear, because he got most of the offense in on MJF in that beatdown. Like it's seemingly like they were setting up a match.
Yeah, that makes sense to have one
between the two of them, which obviously would have to take place before Full Gear, because I don't believe I don't believe that
fix
the firm
is in.
I believe that the firm is still firmly on the side of MJF.
Yeah. And Safet in the chat there. Yeah, Rampage under 400.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go up against Game 1 of the World Series. SmackDown got its ass kicked too. Lost over half of its viewers. I mean, that happens. Let's face it, at the end of the day, live sports is always going to draw more than professional wrestling. And that's just something we have to learn
This
to
was
accept.
more of a dark card, though. I mean, Keith Lee, Serpentico going 14 seconds. It was funny. I was typing out Serpentico's...
To be fair, that match wasn't even announced ahead of time. They just announced
it was Keith Lee in action.
Rampage, that Keith Lee was in
action. That's right.
You knew it was going to be a squash match.
Claudio was overseas for Sheamus's wedding, wasn't he?
I don't think it was overseas. I think they were here in the States, but that's exactly why Claudio couldn't be there. Wheeler couldn't be there.
Well, Wheeler was double booked. Wheeler was
booked for New Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, in New York. So, okay, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, Claudio and Drew and Miro were all out at Sheamus' wedding.
They saw that booking announced on Wednesday. Like, TK, what the fuck, man?
Congrats, fella. Yeah, Yuta was double booked for New Japan Strong. So yeah. Keith Lee beat. Yeah, it was funny. I was typing out Serpentico's record, just laughing at it because it was like 13-94, and then by the time I'm typing it out, 95.
I'm pretty sure I put out a tweet that said that match was shorter than it took me to type this tweet.
Ty Mello,
along those lines.
Yeah, Ty Mello beat Madison Rayne, and in the main event, which I'm glad was a little bit competitive. It went 8 minutes, but Matt Taven beat against Wardlow. Beating him for the TNT Championship. Outside of that main event, a lot of that shit could have easily just been on Dark.
The aftermath of that main event was what made everything, to me, it was a lot of what made everything worthwhile.
Yeah,
Like
it almost looks
Powerhouse
like.
Hobbs shorting the embassy.
Yeah, I don't know if
Like
that's official.
I didn't see that coming. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
it's pretty freaking obvious.
Yeah, I don't know if it's official yet, but he's holding up the TNT title, Cage holding up the television title. Be interesting. They of course were together in Team Taz. So
And Cage is going for that title this Wednesday night on Dynamite against Samoa Joe.
yeah,
So
I almost want him to win, but at the same time, I want Joe holding that title at Final Battle.
if they cheat to take it off of him, I'm fine, because if that means Joe's available to challenge Jericho,
Yeah.
then
Joe and Jericho.
I'm 100% okay with 100% okay with that if that's the plan.
How close is better record than Avalon? Poor pretty Peter. How close is Adam Cole is another good question. Is he going to be ready would he be ready for Final Battle?
I think when Adam Cole comes back, he's going to be aligned with the Kingdom.
Yeah.
I think there was a reason that they brought those guys in, and I think Taven coming out to the remix that Cole used quite frequently in Ring of Honor on Friday night was not an accident.
That still doesn't erase the fact that he's a former ROH World Champion.
Yeah, but if he ain't coming back as a babyface, him coming to challenge Jericho doesn't make a lot of sense.
Who knows? We'll see what happens.
So
that was Rampage. Let's move on to SmackDown.
That was Rampage, baby.
It's time. SmackDown, the first 40 minutes dominated by the Bloodline. First, Sammy and Solo taking on the Brawling Brutes. Of course, no Sheamus because he's out there getting married. Congrats, fella. Brawling Brutes get the win over Sammy and Solo. Because, again, miscommunications and the such with hothead Jey Uso and the honorary Uso, Sami Zayn, come to a head again, allowing the Brawling Brutes to get the win. And then, Daddy's home as Roman Reigns makes his entrance, and it got interesting. First off, I loved when Jay said, "I don't give a damn what the tribal chief said." I went, ooh. I physically went, ooh.
That's the best part because Roman had his head down.
Yeah.
He said that and Roman went. I was like, oh shit.
I went, ooh, oh, here we go. Yeah. And then of course we talked about it earlier. Sami Zayn making the entire bloodline pop. Jay hasn't been very oozy. Best part of that is if you go back and watch it, Jimmy's in the background. Oh yeah, Safet. Once he said that, you fucked up, and that was audible on Fox on network television for a good 2 or 3 chants of you fucked up. Which
technically
was
cable. It was on Fox Sports 1 on Friday.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Thanks to the World Series.
Oh,
so
I watched it on DVR. No wonder that looked weird when I started it up, because sometimes YouTube TV will put both versions because it does repeat on FS1, and so sometimes it defaults when I click play, it defaults on the FS1 broadcast. So I didn't even think about that because I was gone doing Halloween stuff on Friday.
It started at 8 on FS1 and immediately replayed at 10.
Boy, so there. I mean, geez, just go watch it on WWE YouTube.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that segment yet, what the hell y'all doing?
But yeah, the best part.
Go watch that real quick before Raw starts.
Best part is Jimmy knowing it's coming. He's in the background with his hand over his face, just busting up laughing. The New Day defeated the Maximum Male Models, who are gonna die a quick death under the Triple H feud regime here. We got more Sonya Deville and Liv Morgan. Hey, Kenny Dykstra on camera. How you doing, man? Ronda Rousey making her open challenge. Of course, if you were a supporter of Fightful Select, you knew that the challenger was going to be Emma. Good to see her back at the WWE, Matt. I am glad that we get this version of Emma. A little more, it's like a babyface version of the good Emma. So I'm kind of excited. What did you think of the Emma Ronda Rousey match?
I saw a lot of people trashing it. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, Emma hasn't wrestled in a few months. Ronda doesn't wrestle a ton. and she's really good with the people that she's familiar with.
Yeah.
I thought the match was fine. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't think it was that bad.
No, I liked it. I'm excited for Emma to be in WWE, see where she goes from there. Jey Uso trying to get a word with Roman, but Paul says, "I got you, bro. I got you," and then just shook his head. Well, apparently Shayna Baszler and Natalya no longer buddies as she choked out her former tag team partner. Good to see a partnership with Baszler and Ronda Rousey. I think that's going to be them two together, just beating everybody up. I think it's going to be good for TV. I love it. Then we got Legado and Hit Row. Their secret didn't Sean Ross Sapp's report say it was originally Nakamura, but it's changed?
He said that they have had a habit of changing names on the rundowns in the past. He did not say that it was changed.
Okay.
He left it open-ended in case they did change it, which was smart of him to do, because you never know with WWE lately.
I'm not sure about Shinsuke and Hit Row, but let's give it time and see where it goes. Hit Row.
We don't even know if it's a permanent thing either. It could have been a one-off.
Hit Row and Hit Row and Legado have had a great feud in NXT. So I'm excited that they're bringing that feud to WWE. I know Triple H probably thought the same thing because he was, of course, overseeing it there. Karrion Kross destroys Madcap Moss. Actually, got 12 minutes, but Madcap's happy. He's got his girl there now. Emma's in WWE, so Madcap's happy. Bray Wyatt coming out once again, almost kind of similar to a couple of weeks ago, cutting a promo. Really enjoying the positive response that the crowd has given him. And Uncle Howdy interrupts once again. And people noticed Uncle Howdy not taking Sean Ross Sapp's thing as gospel like some people ran with, but yeah, sure, he does have some resemblance to Barry Windham, but there is a little something that tells you something else, right, Matt?
The earring could, in fact, be.
Who wears that earring? Who wears an earring like that? Yeah, bro. Very excited.
We all know he's been coming back. At least that's what's been reported.
If Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas, oh man, this is gonna get good.
I think it'll be great.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly who it needs to be.
Let's wrap this.
To me, I'm one of the people that think the Wyatt Six need to be all different people.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's wrap this baby up with looking ahead to Raw tonight and Dynamite on Wednesday. Let's first start with Dynamite. This Dynamite is in the backyard of Matt, but not exciting enough for Matt to go.
No, and I'll tell you, and there's two reasons why. I was just at Dynamite and Rampage earlier this month in DC, and at that Dynamite, I saw Darby Allin against Jay Lethal. They're doing it again this Wednesday, and National Scissoring Day. They're basically doing that again this Wednesday with the Daddy Ass Birthday Bash. You're literally taking a match and a segment that I was live for a few weeks ago and putting them on the same Dynamite that's a hop, skip, and a jump away from the arena I was just at. That's not smart.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are going to be attending both of those shows. I don't want to go to a show a month apart and see the same shit that I saw at the beginning of this month.
Yeah.
So for those two reasons alone, that's why I'm skipping Dynamite in Baltimore this week.
Yes,
make me regret it, TK. Put on a hell of a show and make me regret it.
What we got is Darby Allin, Jay Lethal again, Daddy Ass Birthday Bash, triple threat for the All Atlantic, which should be a good match. Luchasaurus, Rey Phoenix, and Orange Cassidy. Do not expect a title change there, though. And maybe Christian gets a little. I just don't think they're going to take it off Orange that quick.
I don't expect any title changes beyond maybe that Brian Cage thing.
Saraya and Britt Baker sit down with Renee Paquette. I loved when Renee raised her voice at those women on Wednesday. It was a great.
And that's another thing. That sit down will be fun that I can watch on the comfort of my television.
Yeah.
That will probably just end up being on the big screen at the arena.
Yeah, and there's not going to be a title change between Jade Cargill and Marina Shafir, and there's not going to be a title change between Jon Moxley and Leah Moriarty.
It's not for the title. It's an eliminator.
Oh, it's an eliminator match. Yeah. But the question mark going into Wednesday is Chris Jericho is calling out any former ROH champion. It doesn't have to be world champion. It could be tag. It could be TV. It could be women's.
They've been pretty clear after that. It's a world champion.
Okay. All right. So, Matt, you have a theory on who that should be in Baltimore, Maryland?
That venue in particular has a large history with Ring of Honor. And honestly, it should only be one person. And it would make sense not to advertise him based on history and whatnot of what, disagreements with Warner Media and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's got to be Jay Briscoe. Like, his family traveled from Delaware every time that there was a Ring of Honor show there, and they were just like loud as hell.
Yeah.
Like, Jay Briscoe's had so many monumental matches for Ring of Honor in that building. It doesn't make sense for it to be anybody else. It's got to be Jay Briscoe. It has to be.
And finally, let's wrap things up with Monday Night Raw. Early notes from Fightful Select, Sean Ross Sapp. I'm not going to read them all, obviously, as some of you may not want to be spoiled. There is obviously a Halloween-themed party for tonight's show. The Trick or Street fight is going to happen. Matt Riddle is going to be in costume as somebody, and I think you might get a chuckle at it. I'll just tell you that much. Elias, Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, Alexa Bliss, and R-Truth all expected to be there. Nikki Cross going to be making her return out of the ASH character. She'll have a match with Bianca Belair. Roman Reigns is at Raw as well, and so is Brock Lesnar. I Bleav that is the latest update that we've got.
Yeah, nothing in the last hour or so. I checked.
So we got 3 minutes before Monday Night Raw. Thank you for tuning in to Lost the Midcard. Again, we're here. We're your pre-show for Monday Night Raw every Monday night at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. You can find us on YouTube. Subscribe. Look for Bleav in Pro Wrestling and subscribe. Once again, we're getting close to 500 subscribers. Once we get there, we're giving away $100 to the WWE or AEW shop you're choosing there. And before we wrap things up here, Matt, any final thoughts?
Like I said, I just hope Raw tonight's better than last week. I mean, I think that's all we can ask for right now.
It's a low bar.
And I want Dynamite to end on Wednesday, and I want to regret not being there.
I
think that's something Tony Khan can try to do. Make me regret not being at Dynamite this Wednesday.
Right.
Bring the Elite back in Baltimore this Wednesday, and instantly make me regret not being there.
Right.
Do it, TK. I dare you.
Matt's gonna throw his shoe at the TV. It's a very low bar for Monday Night Raw. That is going to happen in about 2 minutes, and it's a very low bar for Monday Night Football as well. So maybe Triple H will bring us something good, since the Monday Night Football game does not look good on paper. But anyways, the World
Series rained out.
I don't know, but we'll find out. But anyways, for Matt Black at Raw F Showtime on the Twitter, for Jeremy Bennett at JB Huskers on the Twitter, thank you for tuning in to Lost in the Midcard, brought to you by Bet Online.